on airport quarantine. Now we've got the virus down, there is a risk that people coming in from other countries could bring it in. Really? Really? You've just realised that there's a risk of people bringing the virus into this country? Dominic Raab? If you were on this programme, if you had the guts to come on here and answer questions, I would say, why is it taking you 3 months, Dominic Raab? You were in charge of the country when Boris Johnson was off, sick. Why is it now that you realise that there's a risk that people coming in from other countries could bring it in?
And how has the science changed if they're following the science?
90% of the world's countries took precautions at airports, including lockdown, including quarantine, including testing. Guess who was in the 10%? The UK. And now Dominic Raab announces on behalf of the government, there's a risk that people coming in from other countries could bring it in. What was our scientific expert advice for 3 months that led you to not do this before? Why have you allowed 18 million people, Dominic Raab and Boris Johnson and Matt Hancock? Why have you allowed 18 million people, many from coronavirus-ravaged countries, to stream into our country for the last 3 months?
Without testing or quarantine.
Given that on January the 30th, the World Health Organization called this a global health emergency. Why? That's my question for you. No wonder you don't want to come on here, because that's the question that you can't answer, can you? None of you can answer it. We've been asking it and getting no answer for weeks. We first started asking ministers about this 5, 6 weeks ago. Why are the airports not doing anything? Nothing. And now, when we have the second worst death toll in the world, by the government's own charts that they show us every day, we're number 2. So you can spin it any way you like. You can make yourself sound as successful as you want. It doesn't change the graph you show us every day. Second worst death toll in the world. Can I go and see my 2 sons I haven't seen in 10 weeks? Can I go and see them today and maintain 2-metre distance? Yes or no?
As far as I would be concerned, I do not speak for the government. As long as you maintain social distancing in what you do, that will not allow
the problem, Andrew Bridgen. You see, what you've just said is completely against the new rules, as stated. So there you are, a Conservative Member of Parliament who thinks you know exactly what Boris Johnson has been saying, and yet you've just told me to do something I'm not allowed to do. So this is the problem, isn't it? There is no clarity. It's a load of old flannel talking about controlling the virus, and you, as a leading, high-profile Conservative politician, haven't got a clue about what these rules actually mean. And you're an MP. You're part of this.
Piers, I did hear your diatribe against the Prime Minister earlier on. What you've got to remember...
When you say diatribe, let me explain what my diatribe is. We have, according to the government's own graphs, and you can spin them any way you like, the second worst death toll in the world, and that's just the deaths that we're declaring at 31,000. The real figure, according to any detailed analysis of the ONS figures, is over 55,000 people. It's an absolute national disgrace when you compare it to almost any other country in the world. We've had no testing. Our Deputy Chief Medical Officer said we didn't need testing, it wasn't appropriate, so we stopped doing it, which was a total scandal. We've had no PPE for the NHS frontline workers and care home workers, which is why over 200 of them have died. It's an absolute national disgrace. And when you come on and say, I heard your diatribe against Boris Johnson, the diatribe is because so many people have died.